Today we're talking to Mike Tytula. He is one of the Reptile Room pioneers on YouTube, and he works with some really cool animals.
He, of course, comes from the lower land of Canada.
All right, this is the Reptiles With Podcast.
I have been keeping reptiles for, like 2 decades now. And we have a business called the Jungle Vault with my partner and I. And we breed hognoses, various different chihuahuas. My favorite genus of lizards, the Tachydromus. That's kind of our main, I guess, time in the reptile room. And then I also keep things like these frog tanks behind me here that I love dearly. Those are my passion is primarily the dart frogs, but I love all the animals that we have in here. Something like 100 individuals ish.
Whoa,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
That's a keeper, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, look at that background. Look at that background.
Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't fake. These are real glass.
That's dude. That you took a piece of the wild and you just boop, put it right there. That looks beautiful.
That was the goal.
That looks amazing.
Yeah, I feel like that's Chuck giving me subtle, like, little attacks here and there because we have to record the podcast in my music studio because my reptile room is just full of racks.
Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm.
We do have those too, but yeah, we try and give the most enriching enclosures possible. Sometimes we're successful, sometimes not so much.
Yeah. Can you talk about like an animal or like a case like that like you tried to either if it was like a rack thing and it didn't work out, or if like you were trying to give an animal a little bit more enrichment and it didn't work out?
For the most part, it's just shooting for like the true bioactive tank that can kind of backfire on people. We haven't personally had really any experiences that I can think of off the top of my head, at least, that have just totally failed. But that's because we're very well researched and we really plan things out before we try. Like, we see a lot of posts of like hognose snakes, like Western hognose snakes, in tanks with like philodendrons and all these crazy aeroids and stuff. And it's like, there's no way you're meeting the needs of the snake that is generally kind of like a arid type snake with philodendron and a bunch of tropical plants. Like, there's just no way that you can meet both and have them grow well and have a super healthy hognose for a long time. So thankfully, for the most part, all of our projects have kind of worked out one way or another. But eventually, when we have a place, both Bree and I, and we have a little bit more room to kind of expand than just this room, we're hoping to do some more like naturalistic hognose snake enclosures. I'd like to get my king snake out of the racks as well. Yeah, that's kind of the goal in the end, is always expanding enclosures, making bigger enclosures, and it's just something that never really stops. Like, you look at, there's basically like a green anole size lizard in like an 1824, and you're like, okay, yeah, that's pretty good. And then now I'm looking at them, I'm like, what if we did like 2 by 3 foot? Like,
Yeah.
Once you kind of get that in your head, it's like, oh man, where does this stop? Like, what's kind of the level? It's like, I'm happy, and I don't know the answer to that question yet.
Yeah. Cool, man.
Keeps getting bigger and bigger. With the hognose, I wanted to mention too, because your partner had posted. I'd never even realized that the hognose nose and face is changing with time and captivity because of the way people keep them and breed them and stuff like that. That was like, when you guys posted that, I was like, I never knew that was even a thing, that their look is changing.
Yeah.
They look more like a ugly pug.
Yeah, basically. Like, there's a lot of, like, especially albino. If you breed like albino to albino, a lot of times they're going to come out with like much stubbier faces, much larger eyes, and like, as you guys know, you mentioned a pug. Like, most humans are like, oh, it's so cute, but like, that's not what they're supposed to look like, and it's not a desirable trait that we should be selecting for. Is this like inbred look? Is essentially how I put it.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to educate people, because everybody, I mean, we're humans. We all have our own opinions, and you can't necessarily get everybody to agree on one thing, but for the most part, the like large breeders out there are trying to do their best to, not breed animals. Like sometimes it does pop up. There's definitely a variation as to like really bad, massive eyes, really short, stubby face. And then there's kind of like in the middle between like a normal wild type looking skull versus these like extremely inbred short stubby skulls. So it's definitely varying degrees of bad, best, worst, that kind of deal.
Yeah, that's insane. Have you seen those photos?
No, I haven't. I remember that we had spoken about it
Mhm.
briefly, but no, I had not.
It's freaking insane. One of them looks like a sardine, dude. Like
Really?
it's just weird.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I just never thought about it until I saw everybody posted it on their stories, and I was like, "Holy moly,
Yeah.
that's inbreeding for you!" There.
So, what do you guys do in your like programs to like avoid some of this stuff?
Well, like I mentioned, the whole like albino to albino thing, like we strictly just don't do that.
Yeah.
If one has albino, we'll always breed it to a het, and that's kind of the closest that we'll get. Other than that, if we do notice that they do have, a shorter face or whatever, or even babies, like we'll try and sell them to like a pet only home that has no interest in producing them in the future, and then that way, hopefully, it kind of mitigates that like self propagation of that trait going around. And we just don't breed ones. Like if they, if it's like, oh, it's a keeper or whatever, maybe it's a pet at most, but we're not going to be producing or selecting for anything like that. That's really, I mean, unless you guys have any other ideas, it's really all I think we can do, unfortunately. Because it is something that pops up randomly. Like you might just have one out of an entire clutch that has a little bit stubbier of a face, and there's really not much you can do about that.
That's weird.
Yeah.
That's just straight up weird.
Yeah.
And it's such a like that is what they're known for is their face, and that's what's affected the most.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah,
weird.
and I don't think they've been really kept long enough to see whether or not it shortens their lifespan any like meaningful amount. I mean, Bree, my partner, is the one that's the most knowledgeable about it, so I don't want to speak too much nonsense without having fully researched it. But based on our conversations with her and stuff like that, or my conversations with her, that's kind of the gist of it. Is that it's mostly inbreeding, but it can pop up randomly as well. And like certain morphs, as I mentioned 5 times now, the albinos are probably the worst that I've seen, but snows are also really bad. I mean, those have albino as well, but the snows, because of the way most people were trying to get snows, they'd basically be breeding an albino to an albino, and then they'd have an all albino clutch, and then they'd have the axanthic in there as well, and then you'd have hets to hets and like clutch mates being bred together. And,
You're just trying to undercut the process.
It is a very rapid decline into we call it pug nose or short nosed, like very undesirable trait territory.
Yeah, because that's a really good way to put it. Because like, one, that's not how they look in the wild, so that's one thing. It probably affects them in life. And 2, people that get hug nose, they get them for that big old nose. They're not getting hug nose for that pug face.
Yeah,
like it's just not the look. If you wanted something with a pug face, you get another snake.
Yeah. Do you think that is like that? This in general is just like knowledge that people are noticing now, or do you think that was like common knowledge but just like kept quiet because people just didn't want to ruin their projects?
To be honest, I think it's almost like a click thing, like Jeff Galewood, JMG, is like one of the largest breeders of hognoses in the world, and he's very opinionated across the board, but he's very well researched, and he has a lot of great ethics in terms of like if it's an undesirable trait, he will happily voice that opinion. And there are many, many people that aren't that way. Hey, a snow back in the day would sell for, I don't know, $1,000 or a couple grand, and you'd be shooting yourself in the foot if you're like, oh, no, I hate pug noses. And yet here you are going to make snows, because the vast majority of snows have the pug face to them. So I don't necessarily know if it's kind of, I think it's as the hognose side of the hobby and as hognoses become more popular, more people are interested in them. And unfortunately, to a lot of people, the like stubby face is extremely cute and quirky, and oh, he's just like that. It's like, well, okay, and especially if it's a keeper that is going to be just a pet house. Like, it is what it is. If you love that kind of look, great. Are there potential detriments to that look? Absolutely.
The best way to support us is by becoming a member on YouTube. Also, head on over to modernreptileshop.com, check out the Reptiles with Coffee and our merch. Right now, we have some really cool limited holiday merch design, as you can see right now on the screen. These designs won't last long, so make sure you get yours.
What's your favorite place that you've been to?
I think it has to be Madagascar.
I fucking knew it.
Like, I love Colombia just for like the species of frogs and stuff, but Madagascar was one of those experiences that, like, I never saw myself ever traveling to Africa for anything. And when that opportunity came up, it was like, yeah, let's do it. And then we did it. So it was like a very polarizing experience in terms of how do I want to put it? It's hard seeing people that are struggling, demolishing primary rainforest for rice fields and for humans, essentially, because we are all animal lovers. We all want to see those, tons of different species of chameleons and all of the wildlife in Madagascar just thriving. But unfortunately, that's not the case. And these people that are cutting down the rainforests are really just trying to, make a few cents a day to live. And it's a really hard, I know pretty much our whole group kind of struggled with it, at least a little bit. The kind of anthropomorphic or anthropogenic effects of it and seeing that. But, we saw 27 species of chameleons in 2 weeks. That was kind of the highlight. was just seeing the incredible array of herpetofauna, really. Like, we saw some really cool frogs. We saw leaf-tail geckos like Euryplatus. And then obviously we saw some of the hognose species that live in Madagascar. And yeah, it was one of those experiences that, if you haven't done that trip and you want to do that trip, do it now, because I know if I was to go back now, the deforestation is happening so rapidly that it will be different than from when I was there. It's not like, oh yeah, this little patch got cut or whatever. It's like, oh, this is dramatically different than the last time I saw it. That's
interesting.
Yeah, tough to digest, I guess.
How are the people living? Like the homes? What did they look like? Did they what did that look like?
Kind of. I don't really know how else to describe it. Really, I mean, they were basically brick houses that were a lot of times made by the family members in that family. Quite small, not built for North American stature, and I'm not a small human by any means. So doorways were a little small. Dave was with us too, and he's pretty tall as well, and he had some issues as well. So the vast majority of stuff was okay, but I can think of specifically one area where it was we went into a local person's house to have lunch, and it was right after we saw the Dumeral's boa and the ringtail lemurs, and you had to walk with your head fully crouched over to sit at this table, because it was just built so low that it was fine for the people living there, but it just was not the case for the tourists from North America.
That's
I think you can live there.
Yeah, I was waiting for it. I was like, the one of them are gonna say it. They're gonna say it.
I think we found your place,
I think I'll
buddy.
thrive there, dude.
I think you would be their king.
King Julian.
Julian.
So
Nice, dude. That's so cool, bro. Tell me about like the Doomerals bows, man. Like that's an animal that here I would say most people like Doomerals bows.
Yeah.
Tell me about like what it is that they're doing in the wild, things that you like saw with them.
So first I'm gonna say that we were there for a few hours. We weren't there for days monitoring them or studying them by any means. But based on what we saw, I think we saw 2 individuals, and there was also a Sanzinia there as well. But yeah, we saw 2 individuals. One was like very deep under rock crevices, like where they live, at least where we saw them. It was a ton of like massive boulders. And a lot of times they were just kind of nestled up under those. And then the other one we found in just kind of like a slightly forested area, just in the leaf litter. So I don't know how much you can really garner from that. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like it's hot there. I don't remember the humidity necessarily. Like pretty much everywhere I go, I always take a UVI reader, a humidity and temperature probe. And I do have all that data, but this was like almost 3 years ago now. So my memory is kind of foggy on it, on the exact details.
Is there not to break too far from the Madagascar stuff, but like speaking about taking those readings in one of your like travels, when you're taking these readings, was there anything that you ever like that like stuck out to you that you were like, wow, I didn't expect this?
Not really. I think it was more so I was surprised at how the hobby's perception of certain things is much different than what it actually is. A lot of people say, oh, well, this animal lives, like, for example, the Euryplatus fantasticus. Like, there were areas there where, they live in mostly dappled sunlight. The few places we found them was on a mountain. And you could go from, even in the trees, there was still UVI. And then if you went even close to, like, a clearing or whatever like that, like, it hopped up to, I want to say a UVI of like 8 or 9. So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they're living in, extremely high ultraviolet radiation, but it's just interesting to see the dichotomy of like, well, oh, those are nocturnal animals. Those don't need UVB. It's like, well, like cryptic basking does exist. These are animals that have access to this at all times. Now, implementing it in enclosures is a whole other lengthy conversation that you have to monitor. Okay, well, duration of the UV, the temperatures, there's so many different factors that go into taking like, okay, well, I took this reading outside in Madagascar versus inside in my enclosure. Given in the wild they have an infinite amount of different hiding places or perching places or anything like that. Whereas that's not the case in somebody's enclosure. So I think that was probably the coolest thing that I kind of garner from it. It's just more data points for me to share with friends or, put out on the internet or whatever. Like it's certainly not a complete story, but it's a nice data point, just as I said.
Yeah. Now from all the other trips, because you're really big into dart frogs, so you went to Colombia, right? Where else have you been? Central or South America? Is that it?
Colombia, Costa Rica, Belize.
You went to Belize, bro?
Yeah.
Ouch. That hurts.
Why does that hurt?
Bro, there's so many cool things in Belize and nobody even cares.
Dude, Belize sliders. Belize sliders are dope.
Belize, everything is dope. They have Crocs.
Belize croc.
Yeah, Belize was not really a herping trip. Like, it was a university class, like a study abroad class that I took. So it was a heck of an experience just in general, but it wasn't like a herping trip. We weren't out looking for reptiles. Really, the only reptile that I think we saw beyond, some geckos and that around the lodges was like more or less crocodiles and stuff like that. So
that's enough for me.
I knew you'd be happy about that one.
Morelettes, of course. Although they're my least favorite, but still a croc. Yeah, morelettes are my least favorite croc.
Why?
They just look like frogs. They look like frogs. Their head, if you really notice, their head at the top is very flat. Yeah. Their ears are flat. The only thing that sticks up is their eyes. Fucking hate that look. But still a croc, so still cool to see them. Which country did you see the coolest dart frogs?
Ooh. Oh, Colombia by far.
What did you see?
We saw a lot. Unfortunately, we did see species of the ones that I have behind me, but not the exact localities that I have behind me. So they looked entirely different.
Weird.
But we saw Philobades terribilis, which is
that's really cool.
The most toxic land vertebrate in the world. Though there's probably some studies coming out at some point that will share there's other very, very toxic poison dart frogs that hasn't been released yet, but that's all I'm going to say about that, because I don't know that much about it. I just know that there's a paper being produced, but oh man, we saw red lamani, we saw Adelopus, which are a species of toad, like a arboreal toad. We saw some pretty cool glass frogs. We saw so many different dart frogs that it's hard to push into a podcast where it's I could name off all of them, but it's not going to mean much to most people who are probably watching this.
When it comes to their poison, I really don't understand them whatsoever. Some people say if you touch them, you can get something. If what exactly is it with their poison? What would have to happen? Do you have to ingest them? Do you have to have a cut? Can you touch them? What would happen?
So we never we didn't risk it. We were always wearing gloves when we were touching the animals. But realistically, the Ufaga, the species that I have behind me here, aren't going to be the most toxic. If you were to lick it or, like you said, have a fresh cut or something, then you might not feel the greatest, have kind of flu-like symptoms, that kind of deal. I don't even know if it's that bad. That's just what I've heard. Whereas terribilis and Philobades in general typically have more potent poisons to them. However, keep in mind, this is only in the wild. They are not toxic in captivity. So that's we've heard stories of, people, one of the photographers we were with was taking photos of the terribilis, and he said that he was in a very small kind of closet-sized room taking nice photos of them. And by the end of it, he was nauseous and I wouldn't say tripping, but blurred vision, really not feeling good. And that was just being in the same room as it.
Dude, can you believe we're getting sponsored by the biggest reptile company yet?
I can't. We just got to tell Yoshii, see what he thinks.
All right, Yoshii.
Oh my God, this is not what it looks like.
This video is sponsored by Morph Market, the world's largest marketplace for reptiles, amphibians, and even arachnids. Buy directly from verified sellers. Whether you're a first-time keeper or a hobbyist, Morph Market connects you with the best in the hobby.
I use it for shipping.
Always use Morph Market for your next reptile. Let's keep on going.
All right, we all know reptiles need bugs. And what better place to look for your bugs than online, not just any place, at dubia.com. Because on there, not only can you find dubia roaches, you can find hornworms, you can find mealworms, and Discord roaches for your Florida folks. And while you're at it, you can go and scrolling through on their website. They also sell really awesome front open enclosures, super easy to build. So this is a nice example of one of their 4x2s, and I'm currently working on saving up to get some of those 4x4s, so these little carpet pythons can get nice and big and look awesome.
Did you see any snakes in Colombia?
We did. We saw... Oh boy, I don't even know the species name of them. I could look, but...
Venomous or not?
tree snakes. We saw one. We saw a hognose pit viper, a fer-de-lance,
Ooh.
and what else did we see? There's one that I'm missing. It was like a racer of some kind.
Interesting. I don't know the races there. I know some of the
Yeah.
animals, but I don't know the races there at all.
Yeah. It was like on the side of the road. We were flying to our next frog spot, and they stopped the car, jumped out the side, and saw it on the side of the road. I was like, "Damn!"
So you guys went on that trip specifically for frogs?
Yep.
All right.
What would you go there for? What are you looking for?
I would look for everything.
Well-
I mean, mind you, they did the same thing, but they went specifically for frogs.
Yeah, like we did mostly daytime tours. I mean, we did some night herping as well, especially in the last place that we stayed. It was kind of like a tidal town almost. Like literally half or 80% of the town would flood like 2 to 3 feet, like twice a day. So
Twice a day, bro.
yeah,
Jesus.
like with the tides when it came in and when it came out and then when it came in again, like it was, like, there was puffer fish swimming at our feet and like eels and stuff.
That's
This man went to
insane.
Atlantis.
For real, dude.
What the hell?
So
That's
we caught basilisks, we caught caiman, and then there was a lot of frogs. There was what's the common name for them? They're the marsupial lizards.
Marsupial.
They kind
Marsupial
of look like
lizard.
I'm blanking right now. I really should have looked this one up before I even opened my mouth. But
Is it the monkey something?
or canopy lizard, something like that.
I don't know.
Yeah. If you guys know Instagram, you know Life Exotic. Zach, he keeps them in his greenhouse.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, after
I'm
going out
totally
there,
blanking.
Madagascar, Colombia, Costa Rica, Belize, all those places, how did that change the way you keep animals?
I think that definitely contributes to the I want larger enclosures for everything. We, not to toot my own horn or anything like that, we try and keep as good standards as keeping as possible. Like pretty much everything has UV. We just got a new rack that will allow us for UV for like the hog noses and stuff. So it hasn't changed a whole lot because, like I said earlier, it's really hard to take like wild data and put it into a little tiny glass box. But it definitely makes me want more larger naturalistic style enclosures for the animals because, you see them out in the wild. And I mean, there's 2 frogs in this tank. Well, there's 3 technically, but there's 3 frogs in this tank that are this big. Like, this is a 3 foot by 2 foot by 3 foot vivarium. So you look at it, it's like, wow, that's a large enclosure. You must have something huge in there. And you look, and they're just 2 little bright blue frogs bouncing around. You're like,
Do you see them? Do you see them often jumping around in there?
oh yeah, this species is super bold. Like I could realistically, I mean, I can see one back there. I can show you guys some later if you want.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Really sick.
Yeah.
Frogs.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a huge fan of frogs, but dart frogs I do like. That's like the only category of frog that I'm like fine with.
I just learned a new fact about dart frogs.
What's your
Are you
favorite?
ready?
It's a fact?
Oh
Yes, it's a fact that somebody posted it, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Somebody posted, "Oh my god, dart frogs outside my house," and I'm like, "Wait a minute, you live in Hawaii?
Wait.
There's invasive dart frogs in Hawaii."
I didn't know
There-
that.
Yep.
Huh?
That's so weird.
You're correct. There is.
That's so weird.
How'd they get there?
The bromeliads.
No, I think it was on purpose, right? Like the government?
Yes.
Really?
I think the government brought them in for pest control, and then there was something to do with that, like the keeping, private collections as well. But as governments are so famous for doing, bringing in a non-native species to control pests, and
the
things
cane
go
toad.
sideways.
Yeah.
That's
situation.
I
crazy.
didn't know that.
Yeah, she literally posted it, and I'm like, oh, that looks like a poison dart frog. That's weird in Hawaii. And I literally said that to her. She was like, that's because it is. And I'm like, no, it ain't. They're not from there, girl. What are you talking about? I would know, girl. I would know. Nope, I was an idiot. I Googled it, and there's dart frogs in Hawaii.
Damn,
Yep.
dude.
What kind?
I don't know. Do you know what kind?
I think they're Erotis. So Dendrobates Erotis.
Weird.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Weird.
Oh, not the cane toad strat. Oh,
Yeah,
good
the
God.
Quinto strat all over again, but poison dart frogs, buddy.
Rock and roll.
Poison dart
That
frogs.
poor crow has to freaking. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That
Now-
poor crow's going through so much.
For feeding the dart frogs, how do you deal with that? Like to me,
The
because
flightless fruit flies?
yeah. That's
Dude,
a
it's
lot.
great. I know some people probably hate it, but for me, you don't have to buy crickets, you don't have to buy mice, you don't have to buy any of that stuff. You literally breed flightless fruit flies in a 32-ounce deli, and it's just a self-sustaining resource.
That's so weird to me. And okay, so I've heard like they don't fly, but sometimes some of them are born and they can fly. Is that true?
Yeah, so it's basically a knockout gene. So if you get them too hot, you can essentially like delete the gene that makes their wings vestigial or too big. So like there's different kinds of flies that are used in labs and stuff. And like melanogasters are like the smaller fly that you feed to like the smaller frogs or babies. And they have typically vestigial wings, so they're like really tiny, non-functional wings. Whereas the larger Hadii species, they have a larger wing, so they can't fly because of that. And if you get them too hot, it essentially just deletes that gene, like the gene edit, and the babies can fly. So
That's interesting.
yeah, it's
Weird.
Yeah.
genetics is weird, man.
Yeah, all that's weird because to me, like there's two things why I wouldn't keep frogs. So I want frogs sometimes, and I think about that, and I'm like, I don't want these flies. And then the other thing is like the noise. I couldn't do it.
What?
I couldn't
Really?
do the
I
noise.
love the noise.
Yeah, I couldn't do the noise.
The noise is so good.
Huh. I mean,
Although
there
I-
are species that have like almost non-existing calls.
Yeah.
Then
Why
I will
don't you
have
get
to
a
look
monkey
into
frog?
that. What?
Get a monkey frog like mine.
I don't know about that. Like, and that comes to me. Bro, when I go to Puerto Rico, I love the coquille frog sound. I love it. But
What?
yeah.
But you don't
Yeah.
love dart frogs. That is wild.
Like most other frog sounds, I'm like, yeah, no. I think it's just nostalgic with the coquille. I don't think I really
Okay.
like the sound. I think it's just the nostalgia. Like, oh shit, I'm back home, and then
Right.
go to sleep. With those things, if there was a coquille frog in my room, I would look at it like it's a cricket, bro. I'd be like, yo, get the fuck out, bro. Like,
Finding the right substrate is a paramount part of reptile keeping. And if you're looking for the best cocoa option, we recommend Cocoa to Go. Cocoa can be used for reptiles, amphibians, and even plants, so they're perfect for any kind of setup. So we make sure to use Cocoa to Go. Let them know that the Reptiles With Podcast sent you. You know, a lot of people, when they start getting into YouTube, they have the whole idea of like, I want this to be my full-time gig. What is your approach when it comes to YouTube?
I've been doing it for so long now that I've just kind of, I don't want to say lost hope because that sounds so dramatic, but I've lost the faith, I guess, that I could turn it into a full-time job. Truthfully, I work full-time. We take care of all these animals, and I created my YouTube channel to have a place where I could learn from people and people could learn from me. And I think over the years, I've done a fairly good job of that. And, I like sharing the growth that I've undergone. I have videos from way back when I was in
this little.
Really?
Yeah.
Yup, this little.
Yeah. I was
Wow.
in a tiny little, my bedroom at home in my parents' house. And then I moved to a bigger bedroom in the basement, and I got a few more things. And, the evolution of moving across the country to live with my girlfriend, now we have, the room that we're in currently, and like it's to me it's like a time capsule of like my life and what I've done. And I was breeding like Lagodactylus williamsi and chameleons, and like just seeing all the different species that in general we don't really have anymore. But just seeing that I was a 14-year-old that was successful with a lizard that like most people still aren't successful with is really cool. And now it's more so just I like my reptile room tours. The traveling videos are always fun. Granted, I am way behind on those. And then like building vivariums and stuff like that. Like that's just kind of what I love. And I don't know. It's weird to me, like when people ask that, like, "Oh, well, why do you do it?" It's like,
Fun.
honestly, I have no idea anymore. Like, I've been doing it so long. I just love to share what I keep, and I love to learn from other channels as well, and hopefully inspire some other people. Like the Tinleys and stuff that I go to. It's like people coming up to you and saying, "Hey, like I got so and so because of watching your channel or whatever." Like it never gets old. Like it's especially with like the kind of weird like eclectic collection that we have now. It's a lot of times like weird kind of fringe species that people like come up and are like, "Yo, check this out. I breed like these 8 different species of random cave lizard." You're like, never heard of them, but that's really cool.
Yeah.
It's really neat to me. And yeah, like it's just something that I've always done. So I get a lot of like my personal friends now kind of asking like, how do you make time for it? How do you do it? How did you start? It's like, I was like in high school, or no, I was in like junior high. So like grade probably 9 is when I started. Like, you do schoolwork, you film a video, and put it on YouTube. That's
I'm
easy.
I'm looking right now, and the first video was 15 years ago. It says kid gets launched on bridge. Hilarious.
Yeah. Did you watch it?
I'm about to. I can. It's 7 seconds long.
Yeah,
Let's watch it right now.
Put it up.
Put it on.
1, 2,
Let's-
3.
Let's go.
There you go.
I will say though, I think that it is, I think it is important for channels like yours to exist because it gives people another option. When I got into this, I really only saw the big scale breeding side of it, and I really thought that was the only thing that existed. And if you were anything else, you were solely a person that was keeping 1 or 2 or 3 pets.
Sure, yeah.
So being able to like have like a frame of reference like this, and then a lot of the modern influencers that are pushing these more naturalistic enclosures and like having fun with building the enclosures and having success in what they're doing, I think it's a great resource to have for people getting into this.
Hell yeah.
I agree. I think it's really nice to hear that. Like I think what I like to do the most is just show what we do. Like a lot of times now, I'm an open book. I show everybody everything. Like, yeah, the room tours are an hour long, but I'll talk about what passed away, or what changes we're making, or we're upgrading a rack, or like I show everything. It's not like a curated snapshot of like each enclosure and very tactfully done. It's literally me walking around a room with a camera, filming everything, showing the good, the bad, and the ugly. And in my head, that's just kind of the stuff that I like to watch. I like to watch real people rather than a curated whatever. I don't even want to give like any examples because I don't want somebody to take it out of context or whatever. But like, I would rather watch somebody that is, going through building an enclosure or just showing off their reptile rooms in a manner similar to mine, because then I know when I first started, I started to do this because I would watch room tours and see a new species that I'd never heard of before. And then I'd start researching that and that kind of deal. And like, I hear that all the time with the tachydermis, like the long-tailed lizards or the grass lizards that I have. Like people are like, oh, I've never heard of these before, but they look like, you know, a mini green tree monitor or a mini, oh man, I'm blanking again. What's the,
Describe it.
Green
it's
cube?
a keel belly lizard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
keel
what I was
belly
thinking too. I was
lizard.
like, but I don't want to say it.
I thought about it.
No,
I
you're
thought about
right. And like that's the kind of stuff that I like to share. And when people say like I discovered this because of whatever your videos, and then I watched other people's videos and stuff like that, like that's what feels good to me, and that's just what I want to put out there, basically.